best and best and best. The first heart transplant, it was done here in South Africa. That shows you that this South Africa is actually among the best. If you go to Europe, you go to America, they actually looking for South African nurses, South African doctors, South African engineers. Our engineering, for example, which is under EXA, Engineering Council of South Africa, go to Australia, go to UK, go to America. We are actually recognized worldwide. There is no need for you to do even a bridge course to go and work in America or to go and work in the UK. You just get in. But compared to other African countries, they have to first test them. For you, they already trust you that you can do the best. The only problem here in South Africa is that people actually, and I heard people saying that South Africa has got more jobs. That is why you see every Tom, Dick and Harry in the whole of Africa, they are now here and they are working. South Africans, they actually are like a packet of Africa. They don't look at their own. They look at other people's own issues. Half of Zimbabweans, they're actually working in South Africa. Half of Lesotho, they are working in South Africa. Half of Mozambicans, they are working in South Africa. Half of Malawians are working in South Africa. Half of Swaziland are working in South Africa. So you need to be realistic. South Africa has been carrying all this burden. That's why we are saying that you need to look at your own first. You must never ever become a lucky packet and always try to entertain things that are not realistic. We always undermine South Africa, but we are not realistic. Hence, I said people need to go and travel the whole of Africa and understand the challenges that Africa is going through. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's my submission now. Okay. I think it's important, and I don't want to make this thing a battle, or I don't want to dampen the patriotic spirit of the previous speaker who spoke. Clearly this man loves his country, so do I, but I think it's important for us to be realistic. In the UK, people from various African countries can apply to be nurses there. It's not something that's specifically open to South Africans. Yes, they value our expertise. So do they value the expertise of those from Kenya, those from Nigeria, those from Egypt. They value the expertise of many African countries. I think they took out a list and they chose around, I'm not sure about the specific number, I will guess it's around 7 or 8 African countries who were designated to go work as nurses in those countries. Not only that, a lot of people can go work as teachers. It's not something that's specific to South Africa. A lot of people can go there and work as chartered accountants. Namibians can go there. Botswana can go to the UK and work as chartered accountants. I know a couple of people who work there as lawyers in the UK. This whole thing that the whole world wants South Africans and the whole world bows down to the expertise of South Africans, and please, let's it's good to love our country, but let's not exalt our country as if we are the best amongst the constellation of stars. Fine, we might stick out on the African continent, but what's Africa in comparison to the rest of the world? What's Africa in comparison to the rest of the world? And you cannot see yourself different from Africa while you are on this continent in comparison with all other countries on the world. That's not how things work. I think that's the issue that we South Africans have. This thing of us thinking that we are special, and this thing that it needs to stop. We need to come to reality. South Africa has issues like a lot of African countries. Yes, we might be blessed in some respects. However, the employment rate is there for everyone to see. The poverty levels in our communities are there for everyone to see. Yes, we do have an immigration issue, and many Africans seek refuge in our country because they see greener pastures here. But the overall situation is similar. Let's make that clear. Nobody's really special. That's my landing point. Thank you.
You know what, Redsne? To add on that, if you can see someone from South Africa to go and work maybe at China there, she's there or is there to teach English, not other subject. To teach Chinese kids or people or community English. If you can see a nurse to go to Europe to do she won't go there to do specialty under nursing. You understand? She won't go there, to work. No, she'll just work there under general nursing. But there is no way that a South African lawyer can go to an American specialized with some cases under law. That is highly impossible. What it's just that the guy he dropped himself, or maybe they dropped him. I don't know, but maybe he dropped himself. What I want to say is, as I said, me and him. We're talking the same point that, I'm having a problem with 30% from matriculants. You understand? Because 30% is not entrance of university. There is no way. Unless if maybe you can go to Damelin or other colleges, private colleges. But there's no way that you can enroll yourself at university. That is highly impossible. You cannot be a pharmacist with 30%. You cannot do LLB with 30%. That is highly impossible. So I totally agree with you that, the way he was talking, it was like, and we don't have experience from matriculant, even after they matriculate, because we don't do things practical. You understand? Yes, we are better than other African countries. I never said, countries like Zimbabwe, they are better than us. No. We are better than most of African countries, but we cannot compare ourselves with European countries and so on and so on. And he mentioned the issue of EU. Only 27 countries at Europe that are under EU. 27. And as he said, Europe is a very small country. You can ask yourself how many countries that form Europe. You can see that the number is too much, 27, of which in Africa we have 54. So Africa is the second largest continent, if I'm not mistaken. You understand? Europe is very small. Obviously, even their countries, they are very small. But 27 countries that are under EU. And then remember, as long as they are under EU, they are going to help each other by all means, give each other support and so on and so on. You see? So, someone is saying people are stupid on the comment. I don't know why. You can see some people, they're insulting others here.
Ignore the comment, Kuto. It's fine. Can I speak, Kuto? I want to address this thing that South Africans can teach English overseas. It's true. And the reason for that is that South Africa has a very large community or population of English speakers, which are the white South Africans and the Indian South Africans, right? And because of that, the overall English-speaking level of the entire population tends to be higher than those of the rest of Africa. That's why South Africa has been designated as an English-speaking nation. However, when I listen to our fellow Black South Africans, and I listen to some of these Zimbabweans are actually very articulate. I've been on Zimbabweans' lives. They know how to speak. They know how to break things down. They're very humble when they talk. It's a pleasure to speak with Zimbabweans. I've also had debates with Nigerians. Nigerians know their business. Nigerians know their story, even though they have their little funny accent. But they know how to put their point across. The same goes for Kenyans. We're not that different from Kenyans in terms of English speaking, right? So this thing of South Africans are wanted all around the world because we're better English speaking. That's not true. I think things need to be put in nuance. The thing is, it's easy for you guys to point out something that South Africans excel with and exalt yourself is wrong. Things need to be nuanced. And the problem with us as a people, South Africans, is that we cannot handle the truth. When somebody is honest to you and say, hey, this is what's really happening. This is what you guys like. Can we be an honest people? Right? We're really not that special. Get it through your heads. Right now, I'm in a first world country. It's nothing like South Africa. It's nothing like you guys portray it to be. Ever since I've been here, I've never seen one pothole. Let's start with that. Right? We're really not as powerful as you guys want us to believe. We're not a first world nation. We're not. We're slightly better than most African countries, but it doesn't mean that we carry the bag. We carry the backs of Africa. No. Please. Let's respect other people. Let's understand where they're coming from. Illegal immigration is wrong. However, those that deserve to be here should stay here and have their own opinion. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you, Red. So can I just comment here? Certain point has just left. I just wanted to correct him a little bit here. You know, there's this notion that people talk a lot about Europe, and when people talk about Europe and they've never been here, they see it through the lenses of gossip or some I don't know, some media, you know what I mean, and the media that's being narrative driven. So the notion that Asia is doing better, it's ludicrous to say Asia is doing better than Africa. The highest amount of people that come to the UK, the Asians, whether they're coming to work or they're coming to seek refuge or whatever else, right? Not only the UK, but in Europe, Western Europe particularly, even Eastern Europeans themselves, they do seek better opportunities in Western Europe. Countries like Holland, Germany, France, Spain, Portugal. So I've just put it to show that, you know, as you can see, the largest immigrants coming to the UK, and this is consistent really for the last 30 years. Sub-Saharan Africans make the least amount, right? And the other thing, what you need to realize is countries that basically want residents or citizens they prefer resident citizens from their former colonial countries. So if you're if you're France, for example, or Belgium, the biggest number of immigrants will come from former Belgian or French colonies. Similarly with the UK, you'd find the biggest number of immigrants here were coming to work. And by the way, the notion that you're limited to what you can do here, it's absolutely ridiculous. We have South Africans at the highest level of governance. Even now, for example, the leader of the opposition party, the Conservatives, she's Nigerian, Kemi Badenoch. There are South Africans that are doing, there are Zimbabweans that are doing well, there are people from Botswana who are doing exceedingly well. The vice president of Botswana was at, I think he went to university in America. Huh? That's where he did his master's. He worked there for a bit in finance. So what I'm saying to you guys, don't look down upon yourself as Africans, because the world hates you already. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we are saying the same thing, but we're approaching from different angles. And when you have internalized self-hate, somebody can say the same thing that you're saying, but you'll miss it because you have got that hate and that hurt that's not been dealt with. That's what I'm saying. So every country, for me, I believe that every country, and I've said it from the onset, every country needs to shape up. Every country needs to shape up economically, right? So this notion, this country, it's like we are now fighting to be who's the better house slave, which is really ridiculous given how black people are hated, despised. Now for you to say, South Africans are preferred here, or Zimbabweans are preferred there, or Botswana are preferred here, or Nigerians are preferred here, it's what you bring to the table. It's what you bring to the table. So when you come here to work, to wherever, when you travel to Asia, whether in South Korea, in China, it's what you are, it's what skill you've got. And really, like now for the last 3 years, there's been a huge recruitment drive to bring in healthcare workers from South Africa. We've been recruiting especially from rural South Africa, in the Eastern Cape, KwaZulu. For the most part, the people that come here, they're coming from there. And they're making it work. They're earning. You know what I mean? They're saving, they're building houses, etc. But all the while you're here fighting with people that you don't even know on social media. But and South Africans will come here quietly, do their job. Zimbabweans will come here quietly, do their job. When I meet with people, you've got Zimbabweans that are employing South Africans that are employing Zimbabweans that are employing Botswana. There is nothing like that in Europe. You're from there, you're from there. It's nonsensical. Just expand your horizon. Stop fighting for peanuts, Right. And lastly, the point that I want to say is that, it's do you. Stop coming here to fight people and to push a narrative. I think at the end of the day, right, people want to stay in their countries. Things change, right? Things do change economically, politically. You'll find yourself being a refuge in someone else's country in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time. So all I'm saying is that have your business, get a job, do you, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with being patriotic. There's nothing wrong with wanting things to function properly, whether it be immigration, be it having access to education and to healthcare in your own country. There's nothing wrong with that. But all I'm saying is that let's stop this stupidity, because people are out here pushing their own agendas. They're coming here making noise, blah, blah, blah. They are being paid to parrot those narratives, and you're here following them. And guess what? They've gotten paid. You're left out here in the open with nothing. So I'm saying to you, be selfish in terms of pursuing what you want. Travel to Europe, travel to the United States. Do you, boo. That's all that matters in this life. Not this whole political agenda. The people that there is a hierarchy to these things. In politics, there's a hierarchy. Our very own presidents are subservient to other people. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. That's what I'm saying. Just do you, but respect each other, because it's tough out here. It's a dog eats dog. Life is not this social media parroting and TikTok and Facebook. Life is real. Yeah? It does not matter where you're from. When I see you there stranded, see you not having a house to live, I don't even count how many funerals we've been of South Africans or Zimbabweans who didn't have families. It happens all the time. They get pauper burials because they don't have family. But people have learned, Africans out of Africa have learned to actually respect each other. Help where you can help. If you can't help, that's fine. Carry on with your life. But the whole Africa can unite. It can unite, but we need to be very specific what we're uniting for. And I've said this, we need to be very specific what we're uniting for. If it's economics, listen, we don't just unite economically with our economies being so diverse and disparate. It's about coming together, saying, okay, your economy, what's your GNI? What's your GNI per capita? Right? No, we can't do that. It happens all the time. It happens here in Europe. Those are the questions that I was asking. There are countries like Turkey and other countries who've been wanting to be part of the EU, but because of their human rights violations, they've not brought to the economies to a subpar level. So that's why they can't. But people come here, talk about Brexit, blah, 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 blah. Brexit is costing the UK £100 billion a year. And like I said, the British people want to join the EU. It was a very, very bad move. And that's why you have people like Elon Musk who are coming here trying to influence political narratives in Europe. But he does not understand that Europe is so diverse. These Europeans, they are so different from each other. The reason why the EU exists is solely to curtail the instances of fighting against each other. These people they literally don't care about each other. The reason why they've existed in the last 50 years, 60 years, to 70 years, is because what brought them together, economic unity, is what's keeping them now. But socially, politically, religiously, they're so different from each other. They hate each other. But they always come back to the same point. Okay, why are we here? Okay, we're here for economics. Okay, that's fine. That's how they that's what has kept them together. So when you talk about Europe, don't talk on the one side. Talk about the other side as well. To say people are not united here because they love each other, no. Even in marriage, you don't get married because you love your wife or you love your husband. You get married because you're seeing something that you can get, or there's something that you can give to the person. Then love grows. In families, we come from families where you don't speak with your mother. Your mother does not speak with your other sibling. You don't speak with your sibling. Then now you're going to expect people to just unite and share for the sake of unity. That's not life. I don't think that's what people are saying. But on an economic front, we could do it. And lastly, I learned at this point, The problem with us Africans is we're very myopic. We're thinking for here and now, right? And so and because I keep hearing this, oh, if you're going to unite, it can't happen now. Listen, the things that started 100 years ago, right? You know, they are only benefiting people now. Some of the things that were started 50 years ago, they are reaping their fruits now. So I'm saying to you, planning is important. And that's where we need to start from. If you're going to talk about whatever, planning starts now. You may not benefit you, it may not benefit your child or your grandchild, but there's a possibility that it might benefit your great-grandchild. And they'll look at you and say, oh, my great-great-grandfather, grandmother was such a visionary. You know what I mean? That's my perspective anyway. Thank you.
Great submission, Bullet. Great submission, and I hope the people who are listening in the comments have learned a lot from this brother. Great submission, brother. Keep it up.
Thank you. Purple, Van Persie, Underground. I don't know if you guys want to make your submissions.
Yes, I made my submission. In Africa, I believe that we cannot do this European Union thing because like there's a certain dishonesty that goes around between us. Like we try to be diplomatic, we try to be very much honest. We try to be calm. We try to reason with each other to see what the other party is coming from. But all we get is criticism. All we get is a smear campaigning of our own views. We may have opposing opinion, then we try to meet each other halfway. Not because I have an opposing opinion, and then I have to be beaten down for having that opposing opinion. You get what I mean? Because really, in the long run, I am planning for the future. But this future does not involve other Africans, because I am afraid that if we don't learn from history, this history is going to repeat itself again and again and again. Hence, we're going to ask the question, why is Africa, most African countries, still struggling? Like I can show you who is to blame for most African countries struggling. Let's take, for example, the Democratic Republic of Congo in the 50s. Me, I'm going to personally blame Mobutu Sese Seko, because he allowed himself to be swindled and take a deal by the Belgium and the CIA. He allowed himself to be used by the CIA to destabilize this Congo. You see, there are some of us who can go outside and be infiltrated by other people and be used against us. That's what I'm afraid of. But we wanna talk beautiful English. We wanna talk nice things, like we and Red saying that we cannot articulate. The Zimbabweans are better articulation and all that stuff. But we are failing to look at reality and saying that they look at the Europeans. They don't love each other, but they are united, and we wanna force this unity, knowing very well that some of us are
testing language. Because each and every country is going to want or wish their language to dominate. And then another thing, the religion. We have so many different religions in Africa, whereby, you know what, it can lead to what? To third world war. So another thing, ethnic group, it plays a very crucial role, whereby when I'm talking about ethnic group, I'm talking about a subgroup or a population group whereby these people, they are talking the same language, same culture, and so on and so on. And another thing that I want us to take into consideration is the civil war that is around Africa. What is currently, as you speak, what is happening in Sudan? What is happening now in Sudan? You understand? So it's going to be very, very difficult, you know what, to unite Africa now. And then another thing that I don't want to forget is our corrupt leaders. You understand? Only if we can have leaders like Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. Those people, you know what, they are the ones that I can make this dream to be possible, to come true. You understand? He is the only one currently in Africa, and with some few that maybe I don't know. But most of our African leaders are corrupt. That is why other European nations, they are taking advantage of Africa. It's because of our corrupt leaders. So currently, it is very hard. It is very hard for Africa to unite to be one thing. Thank you very much. I don't want to be long.
Thank you so much, Kutso. Can I ask you a question? How many tribes are there in Tanzania?
What kind of a question is, how must Kutso know that other question?
Okay, I can help him with that.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that I was mute. Currently, there is this tribe in Africa. I think most of the people, they see it on TikTok. They are just eating meat raw like that. There are so many tribes in Africa. So I give example with only Nigeria, whereby we have so many tribes there, many of them. So I'm not sure about the number in Tanzania, but there are many, my dear.
Thank you for your answer. You know what? Tanzania has over 127 tribes, but it took a great leader with his persuasive powers, whose name was Julius Nyerere, to unite Tanzanians, to put them behind a common vision. You know, so I really do get you, the points you put across, but what I'm trying to say is it has happened in the past. And right now, it is important for people to go back to history and look on how different tribes who were warring against each other were actually united under Julius Nyerere, and how he liberated the rest of East Africa and also be part of SADC. I just want to play a small clip for you, Kutso, right?
So I want to apologize to everyone in the panel, because we just witnessed Nkwepe deep-throating Rat's point about him saying that it's okay to